Hey guys, welcome back. In today's video, we're diving deep into Python strings, specifically how to combine strings with concatenation, how to format strings in different ways, and one of the most powerful features in Python, f-strings. By the end of this video, you'll have a toolkit of tricks to make your Python code cleaner, more readable, and more professional. Before we jump into the fun stuff, let's quickly refresh. In Python, a string is just a sequence of characters wrapped in quotes. Let's say we make two variables. We can call the first one text1 and the second text2. Here's how they will look if we assign each of them a string value. We'll assign the string hello to text1, and we'll assign the string world to text2. Notice that for text1 I use double quotes, and for text2 I use single quotes. Both work, double or single quotes. You can even use triple quotes for multi-line strings like this. Say we have a variable named paragraph and we want to put multiple lines of text in it. We'll use triple quotes. So paragraph equals this is a string that spans multiple lines. Now let's talk about concatenation. Concatenation means joining strings together. In Python, the simplest way is using the plus operator. I'll demonstrate this using three variables. I'll name them first, second, and result. Now I'll assign them values. I'll give first the value of Python, second the value of rocks, and result the value of first plus an empty space plus second. Now if I print result, oh, sorry guys, let me add this print statement in. I forgot to do that. Now, if I print result, we get Python rocks. We could see in the terminal here. We have successfully joined the values inside the variables together. That's concatenation. Notice how I added quotes with a space to insert a space between words. You can also concatenate numbers, but you'll need to convert them to strings first. So if we have a variable named age with the value of 25 and we wanted to concatenate it with some other strings, we would have to convert it to a string using the str function. Let age equal 25. So we can make a second variable sentence, And in this variable, we'll add some text and concatenate it with the variable age. We'll say sentence equals I am plus str age plus space years old. Now we can print the sentence variable and see the result. And we get the text, I am 25 years old. Without str age, Python gives you an error because you can't combine a string and an integer directly. Did you know you can multiply strings? If we make a variable called laugh and give it the value of ha, like this, if we want to print that out 3 times, we can just do print laugh times 3. And we get ha ha ha. Okay, I'm going to explain how something called an f-string works in a moment, but first you need to know this. Before Python introduced f-strings, there were 2 main formatting methods. Here's a quick definition of formatting so you know what we're talking about. Formatting in Python means controlling how values, like numbers, strings, and variables, are turned into text and displayed inside another string. Think of it like filling in the blanks in a sentence. The first formatting method used before Python introduced f-strings was the %sign operator. This is called C-style formatting. If you don't know what C is, it's a programming language, and here we're formatting strings in a style that comes from C. Let's say name equals Kakashi and age equals 35. We'll make a print statement. When we save the file and run this code in the terminal, we can see it gives us the output. My name is Kakashi and I am 35 years old. So here's what's happening. %s is a placeholder for a string, and %d is a placeholder for an integer. At the end of the print statement, we provide something called a tuple, which looks just like a set of parentheses. This is the tuple here. It has the variables name and age inside of it. And Python substitutes those values into the placeholders. So inside the tuple we put the variables name and age, and Python substitutes those values into the placeholders. If you want to put in a decimal or float, then use %sign f. Here's the second formatting method. It is the dot format method. Let name equal Bob and age equal 28. We'll print those values out in this print statement. That's how to use the dot format method. It substitutes the values we put in it into the empty curly braces in the print statement. And you can see the output here. My name is Bob and I am 28 years old. You can also reorder or repeat values like this. Like this. Here's an example print statement. So we're looking at the second line of text here. And something to note is that in coding, we start counting from 0 because Python and most programming languages start counting from 0. So if we want to use numbers to reference our variables in order, name would be 0 and age would be 1. We can then use those numbers inside of the curly braces as placeholders that reference the variables. So when we ran the code, we see the output in the terminal here, and it shows the text from our print statement, but with the values of the variables substituted in where we place those numbers. We can even specify formatting for numbers like this. We'll make pi equal 3.14159. And here's a print statement that goes along with this. Here we're using a format specifier inside the curly braces. The colon says we're about to format the number. .2f means format this as a floating point number with 2 digits after the decimal. So when we run this, Python takes our value of pi, which is 3.14159, and prints it as 3.14. Now let's get to the best part, F strings. Introduced in Python 3.6, F strings are the cleanest way to format strings. Let name equal Sakamoto. And age equal 40. We're going to make a print statement. The only difference here is we put the letter F at the beginning. So it's print opening parentheses and an F. And then we add the string. Notice how you can put variables directly inside the curly braces. And when we run the Python file, we see our output in the terminal. My name is Sakamoto, and I am 40 years old. You're not limited to just variables. You can run expressions, mathematical operations inside F strings. Let's make a print statement using an F string. Here's our print statement. See how I put the variable age plus 1? Now we'll get 41 for output. If you look at the second line of text, here we have 41. You can even call functions inside f strings like this. There's our print statement. We put the variable in like normal, then add our function. In this case, we just put dot upper in parentheses directly after the name variable. This changes Sakamoto to uppercase. We can see this if we run the code. Here it is. We can also use formatting options. Let pi equal 3.14159. Here's our print statement. We're using a format specifier inside the curly braces again, this time with an F string. Here's the output. So you can see it's rounded to 3 decimal places. F strings also support alignment. Let word equal Python. Here's a print statement. And here's our output. Here we're using a formatting specifier with the greater than symbol. The greater than 10 means make this field 10 characters wide and right aligned to text. Since our word Python has 6 letters, Python adds 4 spaces to the left so it lines up nicely. Here's another print statement. And here's the output. Here we're using a formatting specifier with the less than symbol. The less than 10 means make this field 10 characters wide and left aligned to text. Since our word Python has 6 letters, Python adds 4 spaces to the right, so it lines up nicely when printed. And here's another print statement. Here's the output. Here we're using a formatting specifier with the caret symbol. The caret 10 means make this field 10 characters wide and center aligned to text. Since our word Python has 6 letters, Python adds 2 spaces on the left and 2 spaces on the right, so it's perfectly centered in the 10 character field. There's also padding with symbols that we can do. Here's another print statement. And here's our output. Here we're using a formatting specifier with a custom padding character. The asterisk caret 10 means make this field 10 characters wide, center the text, and fill any extra space with asterisks. Since our word Python has 6 letters, Python adds 2 asterisks on the left and 2 asterisks on the right. So the output looks like 2 stars, the word, then 2 stars. Here's a neat debugging trick you can do with an F string. In Python 3.8 and plus, you can write let value equal 42, for example, and then here's a print statement. The output is value equals 42. This saves time when debugging variables. This feature saves time when debugging variables or when debugging because Python prints both the variable name and its value automatically. You don't have to type the name in a string manually, and it makes checking multiple variables faster and less error prone. Here are some best practices. Use F strings whenever possible. They're faster and cleaner. The dot format method is still useful if you're writing for older versions of Python, and also when you're writing short strings, using the plus sign to join them is fine, but if your strings get long, using plus signs everywhere can get messy. You have to keep track of spaces, convert numbers to strings, and it just looks cluttered. That's why Python gives us better tools like the dot format method and F strings to keep things neat and readable. Here are 2 examples of how to do that. If we make name equal Naruto and village equal Konoha and age equals 17. Instead of doing this and then printing it out, we can do this method using the dot format method. Or this method using F strings. Both are cleaner, easier to read, and scale better when your strings get longer. So that's Python strings, methods, and tricks, from concatenation to formatting to the modern and powerful F strings. If this video helped you, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss future uploads. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.